Louisiana Ragin Cajuns quarterback Zeon Chris into the transfer portal. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, we've made our way down to South Florida. We're hitting the Boca Bowl tomorrow, so we'll see a little Syracuse Orange, and the idea is to get Friday's episode done before the bowl game because we're going to get back home late after the bowl game. All right, we'll talk big recruiting day for Arkansas State. They landed Josh Flowers out of Baker High School in Mobile. We'll talk about that, and we'll do a whole signing day recap. But the crushing news to Ragin' Cajuns fans is that Zeon Chris, the quarterback, who actually started the year as the backup, came in and played very well until he got injured. Backed up Ben Woldridge, came in, won a few ball games, a very dynamic player. And the thought was he was coming back, but Zeon Chris has hit the transfer portal. The timing is a little, I'm not sure suspect is the way I would say it. Interesting is probably it. It is signing day. So people are thinking about the future, right? These kids are coming to play next, or will be on the teams next year. And the Cajuns got a very good quarterback, Daniel Beal, Catholic in Baton Rouge. So that is someone who will be coming to play for the Cajuns. Also, it's expected Ben Woldridge is back. We reported that at my old radio job that he was expected back. We'll see if Chandler Fields comes back. He may be coming back. Chandler Fields went through senior day ceremonies and has graduated. And I think Ben Woldridge has graduated, but he didn't go through senior day ceremonies. But the idea was that Ben was coming back and Chandler's future was up in the air. Chandler didn't know what he wanted to do. But it is a little disappointing that Zeon is going into the portal. I'm not quite convinced unless this is immediate. And when I say immediate, like December 26th, if he starts visiting other places, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's the 27th. We'll give him a couple of days after Christmas. I'm not exactly sure that someone didn't, put a bug in his ear, and then all of a sudden he is in the transfer portal. I don't know if the coaches knew about this. I don't know if they blindsided him. I'm sure we'll hear about that here in the upcoming days. But I do hope it works out for him. I hope he's getting the bag, as the kiddies say. So I hope he's getting paid, and I hope he's going to a place that he can play right away. All right. If it is SEC competition, or if it doesn't have to be SEC, if it's Power 5, good for him. Okay. If he's getting the bag and he's going to sit, I'm not sure how that helps outside. It does help his bank account, right? Getting paid for not working. Just saw that Arch Manning, got like $3.2 million as an NIL deal, and he was the backup quarterback. Although someone reported that he's not taking the money until he starts winning, so we'll see. Anyway, the thing that I'm wondering about is, and we saw a bunch of coaches. Hugh Freeze said it. Rich Rodriguez from Jack State said it. There was, quote, pretty big time tampering. And there was another school that maybe mentioned that there was tampering as well, that basically at the last minute, they, someone called Zeon and say, hey, hit the transfer portal and you come here. So we'll see. Again, I probably do believe that he is hitting the portal and will end up somewhere else. All right. And again, I do hope that it works out for him. I'm not 100% convinced that's going to happen. The faster it goes, the more likely that it's going to happen. If we come and it's January 1st and he hasn't picked a place, he may very well be back. So we'll see. I presume this is going to be very quick, say a couple of days after Christmas. He's got a couple of days before Christmas, right? Christmas Eve is Sunday and Christmas is Monday. So maybe he picks a school, and that would lead to who was doing the tampering very quickly here. So if that's the case, so be it. That someone wanted him, he wants them. Go get your money and hopefully go play. All right. But as I pointed out on a tweet, the grass is not always greener on the other side. All right. And in this case, that's, literally and figuratively, although the money is green wherever. But the Ragin Cajuns, basketball player Jordan Brown, the Sun Belt tournament MVP, went to go play for Memphis, and now he's not playing for Memphis anymore. All right. I'm not sure how much money that he got. I guess he got a little bit of money, supposed to get a lot, and didn't get very much of that at all. And it hasn't worked out. And from my understanding, he's left Memphis or isn't returning. Penny Hardaway keeps on saying that he's sick, but that seems not to be the case. And so you hope it works out, that it's not just it's a little bit of a money grab. I hope these kids are learning, right? If I come there, I get a down payment now, right? This is not coming from the schools, allegedly. It's coming from, collectives and so forth, and private individuals. And so, hopefully these guys have learned, the players have learned that you got to get the money up front. We hear, stories that, kids from A&M didn't get what they thought they were getting. And that, the longer they stayed, the more they got. So you need to be clear, as someone who unfortunately went through this recently, it needs to be clear what you're getting and when you're getting it. And I'm very interested to see where he lands, right? Does he go, well, we'll just say Duke. I don't know who the next quarterback is at Duke, but Riley Leonard left Duke. Maybe he's going to Duke. That's a possibility. I'm not sure he's going to a place like Auburn, right? Auburn he's not going, Peyton Thorne is there. I know Ashford left, but they got they have, the kid from last year's, Holden Garnier is there. And now they got Walker White. So he's not going there to compete with them just for a couple of bucks, right? It's nice in theory, but he may get left out if that's the case. So we'll see where he ends up. I do hope it works out. I do think he's going. I'm not 100% sure that it's a, quote, done deal. All right. So if this is not done before New Year's, I will be somewhat surprised. We'll see if it happens before Christmas. All right. Because it feels like this was done at the last minute and someone got a hold of him. This is how much money we can give you, and check with mom and dad, and they said, okay, let's do it. Right. That's kind of the feeling that it has. We'll see, right? There are, cheesy salespeople, whatever it may be. I'm not going to hit an industry or anything like that, but, they tell you what you want to hear. And then when it's time to sign the deal, they're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Instead of walking away, you end up taking the deal, and it's good for the salespeople, right? Well, maybe he's promised a certain amount of money, and then you get there and it's like, well, we'll give you the money later. Well, no, you said you're giving me the money now. We actually didn't. That kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. It is a devastating blow. I went on Ragin Review, and I mentioned this, I think, here as well. The Cajuns have 2 years to get their football program headed in the right direction. As much as it would be great for next year, and if Zeon was coming back, there's no reason why they cannot contend for a Sun Belt championship. But really, the year I was looking at was new stadium, new facility. Zeon's a junior. The running backs are juniors. Let's go. All right. And now, I don't know if they have to reset it, but now they're going to have to find another quarterback for 2025. All right. We had that quarterback, or the Cajuns had that quarterback, and now they don't. So we shall see if they find somebody or he comes back. We'll see. Again, the longer this takes, the better chance he has of coming back. All right. Once Christmas ends, we'll see what the deal is. All right. Because if he's going to go, you would think he wants to be there for spring semester, and you got to hustle up to do that. All right. So I do think he's gone. I'm just not 100% positive that's the case. We'll see. All right. Maybe it happens. Maybe it happens later today. Who knows? All right. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, somebody that I covered, somebody I called games for, Josh Flowers, is going to Jonesboro. He is headed up to Arkansas State. That is a huge pull for the Red Wolves. It is time to tell you, let's make sure we get this one correct. It is time to tell you about LinkedIn. Got it right. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to have as many top-tier candidates as possible to interview. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and that may not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. They even just launched a new feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm here with my godson, Jonah. Oh, don't hit the table. All right, he's watching. He's watching the old pro do it. He's going to the Boca Bowl. He wants to start a Syracuse podcast, and he probably should do so. Go Orange. All right, we'll recap the rest of the signing day a little bit later, but I had a chance to watch Josh Flowers play football, and for all those Red Wolves fans, you got a good one. All right. I'm not sure what happened with Josh Flowers. He was, I thought, one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Alabama. I thought he was, either Alabama or Auburn bound, and Alabama got theirs. Thought he may be Auburn bound, but then he was Mississippi State bound. And then, the whole change, unfortunately, Mike Leach passing, and then Zach Arnett gone, and then Jeff Lebby is in. And I think Arkansas State got an SEC quality quarterback, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. The only problem with that is, if there is a problem, he's got Jalen Raynor sitting right in front of him. That's the problem. He's got somebody who's going to be there, one thinks, for at least 2 more years. And with the portal, you never know. Not a whole lot of group of 5 quarterbacks are entering the pros early, right? That does not happen on a regular basis. So interesting that Josh Flowers, and he's very much the same type of quarterback that Jalen Raynor is, he can run it. He, a couple of times I saw him not only, run away from the defense, but then cut and run towards the defense and run past the defense. He is a special athlete. He's got a spectacular arm. Baker had a really good season and was, looking to make a big run in the playoffs, but they did get upset in the first round in their playoffs earlier this year. But Josh Flowers is an awesome player. Let me see what they said about him. I want to be specific on what Butch Jones said about Josh Flowers, because he is, again, I happen to think they got an SEC, they got an SEC quarterback. They got an SEC quarterback going to Jonesboro. All right, this is Kara Ritchie kind of reiterating what Butch Jones says. Josh Flowers is the first ESPN top 300 signee in Arkansas State program. A one-time Mississippi State commit, Flowers is rated the 7th dual threat QB in his class. Accounted for 91 touchdowns in his high school career. And she said too many offers to list. So they got a great quarterback, very much like a Jalen Raynor. And, good for him. And again, I personally will vouch for Josh Flowers. I wish I could remember what team they were playing. And the defensive linemen were huge. Like the team that they were playing was much bigger than the offensive line. And what are you going to do? And they just ran all over them. The big guys were good going straight ahead, but you start going side to side, those big guys got tired, and Josh Flowers ran all over them. In fact, they blew him out. That may have been like opening day 22, right? So they do a great job over there. And again, Red Wolves fans, you should be really excited about Josh Flowers as long as he ends up playing there, a few years down the road. He's also a special basketball player. In fact, Baker had the best basketball player and the best football player in Mobile for a little bit, but the basketball player transferred out, went to prep school in the Midwest, and now is going to Kansas. And I believe they were both on the basketball team. So, and Josh, I saw Josh play basketball as well. So he's a special athlete. Arkansas State should be very pleased if he does end up playing for them. So that would be the one caveat that, hopefully he sticks around to play and learns a little bit from Jalen Raynor and can help him out when necessary and gets a chance to play in a couple years. So good for Butch Jones, who really got that Red Wolves program heading in the right direction. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we will recap signing day. Looks like some teams moved up and a lot of commits. Others did not. ULM sort of did it their own way. So we'll talk about that as well. We will talk to you about FanDuel when we come back. Oh, that worked again. Okay. Right now, as the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, partner of the NFL. All right. I may get kicked out of the house. Jonah, what happens if I take South Florida over Syracuse tomorrow? Because Syracuse is playing with like quarterback number 3. Is that going to be a problem?
Dad, me, or
yeah.
Gonna be mad.
Yeah. I may be sleeping outside. Yeah. Probably a bad idea. Although Syracuse is favored, and I'm not sure why. Although they had a great day. Signing day. Anyway, let's talk about the recap of the Sun Belt signing day. The Fighting Will Halls ended up with the Sun Belt's number 1 class. Congratulations to him. They got 29 commits. All right. That's overall. So that's everybody included with the recruiting and the transfers. Coastal Carolina made a nice move. They got 21. Marshall got 22. App State got 21. Arkansas State with 25. Georgia Southern with 23. South Alabama with 19. James Madison with 16. Texas State at 24. Troy, with a new head coach, obviously, they got 14. Cajuns come in with 17. Old Dominion with 16. Georgia State with 12. And how about this one? Goodness gracious. Ranked last, but they have the most, is Louisiana Monroe, and they have 32. Let me see if my Twitter space here. Yeah, here we go. Aaron Dietrich tweeted this out. It's a quote from Bryant Vincent, the new head coach. We're not looking back. We're looking forward. Okay, this actually has ULM football has signed 34 players, 17 JUCO, 13 four-year transfers, and 4 high school prospects. That's one way of doing it. And according to 24/7, the only school in the entire Sun Belt to get a 4-star recruit is ULM. Let me see if we can find out who that is. That's impressive job by Brian Vincent. He just brought in more than a third of the roster, right? If it's 85 scholarship players and he just brought in 34, that's a lot. So good job by him. Again, I think you can keep on adding as long as people are leaving and hit the transfer portal. You know, you can bring in as many as you want as long as you're not over 85 scholarships. Let me see. I'm looking here on 24/7. It does not seem to have one. Oh, is it? Oh, maybe it's Jaden Hamlin. Jaden Hamlin, a 4-star? Yeah, out of Southwest Mississippi Community College. So he is a 4-star. So out of all the JMUs, the Troys, the Cajuns, the South Alabamas, only one team in the Sun Belt got a 4-star, and that is Monroe. And then, I mean, you can see this is from earlier. Is this from earlier? Oh no, this is from. Well, that's the recruit rankings. We had overall. I had the overall rankings here. Yeah. So recruit rankings is So 24/7 does the overall rankings. Okay. So that includes the transfer portal. But if you just do the recruit ranking, well, it's not going to allow me to do that, I guess. Oh, so if you do the recruit rankings, App State is actually second, Coastal third, Arkansas State is fourth. But again, the Cajuns are way down there. Oddly enough, Monroe actually goes from 13 to 14 when you add their transfers in, which is a little bit odd. And maybe Georgia State goes up. But, the Fighting Will Halls had a big day. Again, nobody signed a 4-year player 4-star. We'll see if that changes here over the next couple of days. There seems to be a lot of room. South Alabama, 18 commits. The Cajuns. Well, hold on. That's not right. Overall, let's do the overall. Let's see what South Alabama has overall, because I don't think it's that many more. South Alabama's got 19 commits, and the Cajuns only 17. So there is room for more. And again, the more that people go into the portal, the more you can add to your team. So we will see what happens there when the kind of the dust settles, right? Again, you go back to Zeon Chris, where does he end up? All right. The longer it takes for him to make a decision, and as far as I know, by the time this podcast comes out tomorrow morning, he could have made a decision. It could be announced. All right. As of right now, we do not know. But we'll see what happens when the dust settles, because if Zeon is transferring in, is somebody transferring out, right? And that's where, the Bryant Vincents of the world, he said it. I was on Ragin Review. I know Mike Desimo wants to, recruit high school talent and develop them. We can't do that, right? You can't do it if they're just going to leave after a couple years. Now, Zeon stayed or came to after, Billy Napier left. I mean, maybe he's going to Florida, but could he really go to Florida? Right? They got a freshman recruit. They got Graham Mertz. I can't imagine he's going to Florida. We'll see. I don't know. But college football has changed, right? It's very tough to build a program. It's basically a new team each and every year. And you have to act like that. And so part of spring ball is not only going to be for the players moving forward, it's going to be for the coaches. This is our system. Let's see if it works for the guys we got. And then you need to make that change quickly. You're like, all right, that's probably not working as well as it should. Let's try this system. And maybe you run out of time in the spring, and then you got to figure out what system's working come the fall. Because you're going to have new players each and every year. The guy you're counting on, and Ben Wooldridge is going to be interesting because now he's going to be here with the Cajuns 3 years. So he's going to be, the Cajuns should be fine for next year. All right. As long as the running backs come back, as long as the wide receivers come back, but you have to, it's really tough to build a program moving forward. It's just really tough building a program moving forward. And these college coaches are going to have to adapt. It's going to be more like Bryant Vincent at ULM with a lot of transfers. And that really hurts the high school recruiting. And so you're going to get, what's going to happen is everybody's going to sign by the early signing day. You're going to get guys committing really quickly. And again, this was a Syracuse thing, but you saw it with other schools in the Sun Belt, people decommitting. Josh Flowers, for one. I happen to think he's an SEC talent, but when you see a player decommit right before committing, to me, that's the school pulling the offer. All right. That's what I think happens. And that happened a lot, with the Orange. All these guys all of a sudden started decommitting, and even the coach said, yeah, it's kind of a mutual thing, right? But it gives the kids a chance to save face. You got to go in, and it kills these. The transfer portal is killing the high school kids. It just is, right? Where these guys think they're going one place, and then there's no room for them. They got to go find a place really quickly, right? I mean, can you imagine you've been committed to somebody for 6 months, and the day or two before someone says, no, we're pulling your offer, and you haven't visited any of the schools you want to go to, and you don't know the coaches, you don't have any kind of relationships? That's really tough. That's really hard, right? That may work for the top guys, but everybody else, it's really hard. So do wish everybody luck. It is a big day. Tough day for the Cajuns, that's for sure. Big day for A-State, getting Josh Flowers. And I love the idea that Brian Vincent is turning over the roster at ULM. All right. And probably is there more where that came from. All right. Hopefully we will have another episode raring to go for Friday. We'll preview the bowl games coming up on Saturday. That's what we'll do. And so that'll be easy to do that. We will do that for Friday's episode. And we got to do that before we hit the Boca Bowl, the big Syracuse versus USF showdown, 8:00 in Boca Raton. Yeah. Yeah. Even my guy Jonah is not all that excited. I mean, it's a pair of 6-6 teams, and I don't know anything about the Bulls anymore. Although I guess they almost beat Alabama. That's all we know. They actually had a much better year than it would appear they were going to against Alabama. Syracuse is playing at least their third string quarterback. They just may go Wildcat the whole time. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back again on Friday to preview the bowl games on Saturday. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. This is the Godson, Jonah Wadner. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.
Go Qs.